Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our provider webinar about the land-based T-levels. It's not quite 1 o'clock yet, so I'll give everyone time to turn up before I start. So please be patient for the next few minutes. Thank you. Welcome everyone to our T-level provider webinar. It's just 1 o'clock now. I'll just give everyone 1 more minute or so to attend, and then I will make a start. Hopefully everyone can hear me and everyone can see the holding slide. As you can see from that slide, all attendees are set to mute, but there is the opportunity for you to add questions all the way through the webinar on the questions pane. As I will be presenting, I won't actually be able to see your questions or comments while I'm presenting, but please keep adding them, and I will feed back to everyone after the event. This webinar will be recorded, and the slides and the recording of the webinar will be available on the City and Guilds website shortly after this event. So, welcome to our provider update webinar for the T-level in agriculture, environment and animal care. My name is Anne Rogers. I'm the technical advisor for the land-based T-levels. I have spoken, I know, to some of you already and contacted a lot of you via email. So it's nice to speak to you all on this webinar. The T-level in agriculture, environment and animal care encompasses the technical qualifications of animal care and management and agriculture, land management and production. Today's webinar will cover an update on the structure of the land-based T-level. There are some changes being made to the core structure, which I will update you about. A progress update on where we are with our development of those qualifications, contact details for the project team. And can I just repeat that the webinar is being recorded for upload onto our City and Guilds website after the event. If you do have any questions, please do put them into the questions section, the Q&A section of the GoToWebinar screen. During this half hour, I won't have time to answer questions live. However, I will get back to all of you with answers to your queries and questions. And I will be using some or all of those questions to compile an FAQ document that will go on our website on the Agriculture, Environment and Animal Care T-level landing page. So please keep the questions coming. Before I go into the updates, just a very quick recap and reminder of the vision and structure of the T-level programme. The T-levels are a two-year technical programme that will sit alongside A-levels and apprenticeships in the government's streamlined provision at level 3. The T-level is a 2-year programme, which was 80% in the classroom and 20% in an industrial placement. And that industry placement is there to help build attitudes, behaviours and skills to make the learner ready for professional life. And alongside the A-levels and apprenticeships, learners can progress from the T-levels into skilled employment, higher education or higher apprenticeships. The T-level programme is composed of several elements. The core element, which is up to 50% of the total TQ time, covers concepts and theories. It's knowledge-based and it is assessed by an externally set and externally marked exam, or 2 exams, and an employer-set project. Now that employer-set project isn't set by individual employers. It is a project that is common to all the learners on a particular pathway. They will all take the same employer-set project. And again, that is externally set and externally marked. The core is graded at A* to E. Alongside that is the Occupational Specialism section of the qualification, which can take up to 80% of the total TQ time. And this covers practical skills and knowledge in a specialist occupational area based on the occupational maps within the sector. And that is assessed in a very similar way to the synoptic assessment in our current technicals by a synoptic assignment which covers both practical and applied knowledge skills. So there will be practical elements and written elements in the synoptic assignment, and that will be externally set, internally marked, and externally moderated. Alongside that is the industry placement, which is a minimum of 315 hours, which is around 45 days, but it can be longer. And and that will take place at a single industry placement or a maximum of 2 placements, but no more than 2. The length of that placement is aimed to make sure the learner is seen as an employee in that industry placement, rather than just a work experience observer. So the learner takes part in the industry, in the workplace, and is a vital part of that placement. Alongside the qualification, students will be expected to work towards attaining Maths or English GCSE at grade 4 if they haven't already done so, or Functional Skills Level 2. And there will be the usual tutorial and pastoral hours alongside in the timetable. So that's the basic T-level programme. So to the actual structure of the agriculture, environment and animal care T-level. Now this will be familiar to most of you, I suspect. There is a common core which is common to all of the students, all the learners that take either the animal care and management pathway or the agriculture, land management and production pathway will sit the common core assessment. Now, as you know, the land-based portfolio is a very, very diverse one, and students can have very different skill sets and different experiences on this programme. For example, a floristry student will have a very different experience and set of skills to a student of land-based engineering or equine management or crop production, for example. And because of this wide diversity, and because the common core cannot be biased towards any one of those occupational specialisms, the common core content is extremely generic. And because of this generic nature of the common core, the assessment of it hasn't really given a clear picture of land-based skills of those students. So the decision has been taken to restructure this slightly and introduce what we've called pathway cores. And you can see on the diagram here the way that this is going to work. All students will still take the common core, and that common core will still have broadly the same content as has been outlined. So it will still contain things like the health and safety, and other components that are common to all the specialisms. There is a whole list of inclusions in that common core that all students will take. But then there will also be a pathway core assessment. And that pathway core will pull information and knowledge from the occupational specialisms on that particular pathway. And there may be more than one occupational specialism on a particular pathway. And any knowledge that can be assessed in written form can be pulled out of those specialisms and put into the pathway core assessment. So the students will take a second core exam, the common core exam and the pathway core exam. And that makes the core component much more relevant to those specialisms and to the sector that the student is working towards. To illustrate that structure within the land-based qualification, if we start with the agriculture, land management and production pathway, as you can see, all students take the common core. And then there are currently 4 pathway cores, 3 specialisms, trees and woodland, the ornamental horticulture and landscaping, and crop production specialisms will share one pathway core. So elements that are common to all 3 of those specialisms may be used in the pathway core assessment. Forestry has its own pathway core, as does livestock production and land-based engineering. So that is the way that the pathway core structure is arranged for the agriculture, land management and production section of the qualification. For the animal care and management pathway, again, the common core is still there, and that is the same common core that is taken by all the land-based students. And then there is a pathway core that is common to the animal management and equine management specialisms. So any common content between the animal and equine syllabuses may be pulled into the pathway core for assessment. So that is the update to the core structure. What I'm going to talk about next is our progress on the occupational specialisms and the development of that material. So the following occupational specialisms: livestock production, land-based engineering, forestry, ornamental horticulture and landscaping, and crop production are in the process of being validated by employers at the moment. Validation is taking place currently. So the content is being amplified or has been amplified and is in the validation stage with employers. Now, you may have noticed that I haven't mentioned the habitat management occupational specialism when we spoke about the pathway cores. And that's because this specialism is currently paused. There is no development of this specialism taking place at the moment. It's paused and is under review by the Institute and their root panel. And if and when this situation changes, we will update you straight away and we'll let you know what's happening with that specialism. But is currently paused. The trees and woodland specialism, this will be familiar to those of you who are kind enough to help with some feedback on this specialism. So thank you for those of you that have helped. And due to feedback, not only from providers, but from employers and industry, it's been agreed that this specialism will be split into two different pathways, a forestry pathway and an arboriculture pathway. So the structure is as follows. All learners on this occupational specialism will complete performance outcomes 1 and 2. PO1, grow trees and woodland. PO2, operate and maintain forestry and arboriculture machinery. And then they will complete one of the two following pathway options. Forestry learners will complete performance outcomes 3, 4 and 5. So PO3, manage woodlands to meet objectives. PO4, maintain woodlands to meet prescribed objectives. And PO5, undertake complex felling operations. So a forestry learner in their specialism section would complete performance outcomes 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Students on the arboriculture pathway will do performance outcomes 6, 7 and 8. PO6, manage tree populations to meet objectives. PO7, maintain trees to meet prescribed objectives. And PO8, undertake complex arboriculture operations. So a student on the arboriculture pathway will complete POs 1, 2, 6, 7 and 8. You may also be aware that we are currently in discussion with the Institute about the requirement for chainsaw certificates of competence required for industry practice and industry placements. Those discussions are in progress and we will update you as soon as I'm able to. Moving on to the Equine Care and Management Specialism. Again, due to feedback not only from providers but from employers and industry, it's been agreed that this specialism again will be split into two different pathways, a riding pathway and a non-riding pathway. So equine learners will all complete performance outcomes 1, 2 and 3. PO1, optimise the physical and psychological well-being of horses. PO2, prepare horses for transportation. PO3, prepare horses for different types of work and competition. And then they will choose one of the following pathways. A non-riding learner will complete performance outcome 4, prepare a horse for breeding, and PO5, support horses' recovery and rehabilitation. So a non-riding student will complete performance outcomes 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Riding learners will do performance outcomes 6 and 7. So PO6, develop a horse's performance on the flat, and PO7, develop a horse's performance over poles and fences. So a riding student will complete POs 1, 2, 3, 6 and 7. Those are not interchangeable, as the same with the trees and woodland, the pathways are mandatory. Those of you who deliver the equine specialism will be aware there is discussion ongoing about the content of these qualifications. And again, we will update you if we have any further information. The animal care and management specialism, the content is in the amplification stage at the moment. And I know we've had lots and lots of help from lots of you around the question of the science content of the animal care and management specialism. The outline content as it stands is suitable for students progressing to skilled employment, but may not be sufficient for students that wish to progress to higher education. And we've had lots of consultation over this and presented several different options for providing this to the Institute. And we've had the following statement from the Institute on that issue. So based on the evidence at present, an approach for including a volume of science to meet the requirements of HE institutions has not yet been agreed. Due to this and the timelines for the Wave 40 levels, to ensure these are delivered with enough time ahead of the first teach for providers to prepare, the decision has been taken to pause pursuit of the additional science proposal and deliver the original version of the qualification based on the original outline content and the original intentions of the employers who worked on this content. So currently there will not be a separate science pathway in development. The Institute, City and Guilds and employers will continue to explore the options in relation to this along with the HE institutions, and we will keep stakeholders informed of this work. So for now, there is no separate science pathway, but we are still looking into options. So that is the current progress on the occupational specialisms. For more information about T-levels, please do visit our web pages. The Agriculture, Environment and Animal Care webpage has recently been updated, so there is new information on there, and information and resources are being added all the time. And I know I've mentioned that a lot of you have already been involved in helping us with development of the qualification, but if you are interested in getting involved and you haven't yet signed up, then the link is there on the slide to do so. And the link will also be available on our landing page on the website. I would encourage as many people as possible to try and get involved. The more involvement we have, the better a qualification we're going to end up with at the end, and the more suitable it will be for all providers and all learners, most importantly. So please do visit the website and click on the link if you want to get involved. To get in touch with us about T-levels, that's me, Anne Rogers, at the top there. I'm the technical advisor for land-based, and I'm the primary contact for providers. So schools, colleges, and other centres delivering the T-levels or planning to deliver the T-levels, please do contact me with queries, questions, if you need information, or if you want to provide any feedback on anything that you've seen today or any content that you've seen online. Please do get in touch. Sally Green is our industry manager, and she is the primary contact for employers and employer queries, information and feedback. Sally is extremely busy at the moment with employer validation panels for our T-level. So Sally is the contact for for employer queries. If any of you have employers that you regularly use that you think would be willing or useful to assist us in validation and development, then please do let us know. Either let myself or Sally know, and we can add those employers to our database. Before I finish, the Education and Training Foundation have asked me to put this information out to you as well. They have a Getting Ready to Deliver T-Levels event next week on the 29th of March. It's developed and targeted to schools and sixth forms who are planning to deliver T-levels, but it will be useful for any centre planning to deliver T-levels. And this event will highlight the training and development provided by the ETF within their T-level professional development programme. If you haven't visited the ETF website recently, there are masses and masses of resources on there already for delivering T-levels. And they are currently developing a training programme specifically targeted to the land-based T-levels. So those resources will be available in due course. They offer training and support, CPD, training needs analysis courses to support you in your role and the T-level route you're planning to deliver. You can discuss opportunities for mentoring, collaboration, and industry upskilling, and you can hear case studies illustrating how other providers have incorporated the offer. So please do visit the ETF website if you have time. So I'm coming to the end of our half hour now. If anyone does have any questions, comments, or feedback, please do put them into the question panel. I will get back to you, and I will use any of them as well for the FAQ page on the website. So ask as many questions as you need to, and I will get back to you with the answers as soon as I can. Thank you very much for attending today. We really appreciate all your help and support, and do get in touch if there's anything else I can help you with. I will leave the webinar open for the next couple of minutes. If anyone wants to enter any questions into the panel, please do. Otherwise, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate you attending today. Thank you.